Hello, this is Desiree Dubonnet, Professor of Medicine at the International Medical University. Today we're going to be talking to you about biofeedback, what it is, and how to understand it.
You want to be a biofeedback technician. Let's discuss just what your job is. You see, biofeedback is making yourself aware of something that you weren't aware of before, something on the subtle side.
Medical biofeedback is a process that enables an individual to learn how to change physiological activity for the purposes of improving health, improving performance for sport and school.
Actually, the mirror is a biofeedback device because you can look at your face and you can see if you look tired or peaked or, just if there's any type of problems that you might see in your face and your skin. This is a feedback mechanism. Inside our brains, our mind, our consciousness is trapped, and we don't have any direct perception between our mind and the outside world or direct perception of our bodies. We have to get feedback. We have to be able to look for a response, modify our response, and feedback. This is the whole idea of a loop, an action loop, a cybernetic loop. And this is what we are.
Kind of makes you want to stop and think about it, doesn't it? About the body electric.
Now, in this idea, your scale, your bathroom scale, is a biofeedback device because it tells you something that you're just not completely aware of. Whether you gained a pound or two, you might not be consciously aware of, but you need the scale to help tell you. The word area of the brain, where our verbal mind is a very small little part. It's about the size of a golf ball behind your left ear in most people, 99.999% of the people. And stutterers are people who have word area in both sides. And then when they go to talk, they start to stutter as both sides try to talk. But when they sing, say, then there's only one side that sings. So they don't stutter when they sing. But this idea of this little word area of the brain being so small, and it really doesn't understand what's going on. It doesn't get all the information. In the reticular formation of the back of our neck, all of the body electric is sending impulses to the brain to monitor pancreas function and blood flow and everything, every cell of the body, getting information flowing through this network of nerves and energy and hormones and blood, as we really aren't even solid objects. What we are is a bunch of electrons with space in between them and this energy, this whole feedback loop. The word area of the brain gets 1% of 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 1%. It gets so little of what's going on, and it needs more feedback. So it doesn't really understand. So that's why the whole idea of biofeedback, so we could sense heart rate, brainwave.
The word area of the brain can also ignore info from the body, and thus it becomes ignorant.
And most of this is aimed at stress reduction within the ideas of Chaulier.
Hans Chaulier had an incredible idea of medicine, that stress is the basic cause of disease because it burdens the body. And he helped to teach me and how to carry on his work.
Chaulier had the idea that as stress comes in, it produces an alarm. If the stress continues, we adapt to it. So that's why we always have to say very critically, you can be really, really sick, you see, and not have any symptoms. Symptoms are associated with the alarm, but you can adapt and the symptoms go away, but you're getting sicker and sicker.
We must learn the most important words in all of medicine, that being symptom-free is not an indicator of health or wellness. The verbal brain does not understand. Being symptom-free is not an indicator of health. The verbal brain does not really understand all of the processes that are happening inside. It cannot be the judge. We have to make other measures. We have to recognize that as stress comes in, it provokes an alarm reaction, and then we adapt. And in the adaptation stage, the symptoms go away. But
So finally, you get to an exhaustion stage and even death. So now this whole idea, you're trying to stop that, trying to bring people back to awareness. You're trying to do that in the context of a simple system looking at the causes of disease to try to understand them: stress, toxicity, trauma, pathogens, awareness, mental factors. All of these things make up the ideas of who and what we are, and all these little stressors come in, and these create a symptom, and then we adapt to it. But sometimes if the stressor continues, it goes deeper and deeper into the cells. This creates disease, where in the beginning we had ease, and dis-ease comes in from the stress. So your first job is to try to find out all these little lifestyle ideas, to give feedback.
Feedback on how to correct the stress problems of lifestyle, feedback on the causes of disease, feedback on the biological process, feedback of what nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, so that they can understand the process of the alarm, adaptation, and exhaustion, and how to deal with it, and how to set themselves free and get to health.
You're trying to give feedback. You're trying to get into an idea of reducing stress and finding the causes of disease. Hence the need for the SOC interview, which is the first part of our 510K, inside our 510K, inside our European registration. The stress lifestyle questionnaire is the hallmark, the beginning. You start with this, and you start to get feedback to the person to understand where their lifestyle might be compromising. Too much coffee, too much alcohol, too much drugs, too much stress, too much synthetic allopathy, all these different things that make up the idea of the SOC, suppression, obstruction to cure. The more of these things that you have, the higher the number, the more you suppress and obstruct the curative process. This is the first part.
This is responsibility medicine, teaching patients to be responsible for their bad behaviors and help to address it, explore it, to change them.
Now we're going to take our new biofeedback, because traditional biofeedback was just bringing people into awareness, you see. And then the neo biofeedback was the idea of taking and using acupuncture and auricular massage points and all different other types of things, in homeopathy and herbology. And now with quantum biofeedback, part 3 now we are interfacing with the body electric. Not just the verbal part of the mind, but the entire body electric, and feeding back impulses to it as we establish a cybernetic loop to help correct and rectify all the little things that are happening wrong, all the little electrical aberrations, all these things that we're being able to work with. At the same period of time, though, if we don't stop the cause of disease, if we don't get the splinter out, if we don't get the nail out of the tire, that's one thing. But then once we get the nail out of the tire, we got to rebuild that tire. We have to be able to work on rebuilding the organs. So now we have to do things, and electrically we can stimulate these organs to rebuild. That's the second part, after we get through the causes of disease. Then we want to look for blockages, all the little types of blockages in the acupuncture meridian. And electrically, we have a very good process of cleaning those out and stabilizing them. Then finally, we get to a symptom inventory. So now after you've done the test, now you get to a symptom inventory. A symptom inventory is not diagnosing. I have pain in my head, that is not diagnosing. Headache, that's not a diagnosis, that's a symptom. Migraine is a diagnosis, that's a specific type of headache. So now we don't want to do any diagnosis. What we're going to do is do a symptom inventory. We're completely allowed to do this. Operationalize understanding the person's problems intimately in an understanding process, listening, sharing, networking, to help the person to understand themselves more.
Because of that, we have much more time to interrelate with our patients. Here's some more tips on how I try to deal with my patients. Number one, I want to define the problem. And I want to define it at a symptomatological level. What are your symptoms, rather than the concepts? In other words, a patient might come to me and say, I have candidiasis. And they've taken a word, they've taken a diagnosis, and they bought into that diagnosis, and that diagnosis might not be correct. So I'll say to them, now tell me your symptoms. Well, I have candidiasis. And I'll say, no, no, no. Let's set ourselves free from the concept of that diagnosis, and let's try to look at what are the symptomatology. Do you have headaches? Is there back pain? Is there bloating after meals? Is there allergic reactivity? Let's get into the symptoms, and let's analyze that. 2 or 3 times out of 10, I'll find out that the diagnosis isn't correct, that they really had a different type of disease than what they actually thought. So I want to try to do that at that level. Defining the problem symptomatologically, intimately, operationally. So many times patients do not know where they are, so they can't get to where they're going. But I want you to find where they are. And so many times that they live in a fog, a mental fog. They really don't understand the symptoms that they have. And I want to clearly get into that so I can understand. In the next level, I want to know, well, how much and how long? What is the extent of the symptoms? How intense is the headache? How long is the headache? How many times does the headache happen? What's the duration of the headache? When does it come? Is it monthly? Is it possibly connected with the hormonal cycle? But I want to know at this level, just give me the extent, give me the duration, the intensity. What is how much intensity, how long duration, and these type of things, so we can understand. Now, when they come back, many times that there's dramatic improvement, but they are unable to recognize it. I still have the headache, and I say, well, what's the duration? Oh, well, that's better. Oh, well, that's better too. So I want them to understand that the healing process takes some time, and by explaining and getting into this intensity and duration, it really helps us to understand the improvements as the patient gets into a good program. So this is something very good to get into it now. Now, what makes us worse? What makes us better? This is very much the homeopathy question. And the homeopath will ask questions like, does cold improve?
We use some simple NLP techniques, and we're going to basically help the person to understand the causes of his symptoms and to be able to release them. So now we've gotten to this point, we've done a symptom inventory, and we've now understand so that as the patient comes back and forth, we start to see improvement. We will know from the duration and from the length and the intensity, what we did before, that the person is getting a little better. When we find out we're not getting results, then we know we need to go a different direction.
A different direction guided by feedback. So we start to understand that we get stimulus response, and part of it we understand, well, we didn't get something in one way. Let's try a different response. Let's try something different.
Since we have done a waiver, since we have done a referral, we're now completely working within the system, and you don't need to be afraid. Everything is being done correctly. Try not to buy into any diagnosis. Try not to let the patient buy into any diagnosis when you're doing the symptom profile. When the patient says, I have candida, and you say, what's your problem? Why I have candida? That's a diagnosis. Tell me, patient, now, what do you really mean? Oh, I have irritability. I have bloating after meals. See, now this is symptoms. That's not a disease. Symptoms are different than the disease name. Be very careful and start to learn how to do this.
Like Hahnemann the homeopath would do, look for just the actual symptom, the feeling, not the diagnosis.
Now, as you put this whole together and you worked with the patient, electrically, the Skio, Eductor, Indigo, all these machines will help to make your patient 5 to 10% better electrically. But if we didn't get rid of that splinter, if we didn't get the nail out of the tire, you see, that's going to be short-lived duration. By reducing the cause of disease, releasing the blockages, dealing with the symptoms naturally through homeopathy, herbology, foods are your best medicine, massage, exercise, all of the natural items at our disposal, along with making the patient better and better, we now have done our system, and we are doing biofeedback, building awareness, building strength, helping the person to improve their lifestyle.
Hi, here. I thought I'd make you guys a quick little video, oh yes, and talk to you guys a little bit about my personal quantum biofeedback experience extravaganza and how it's really helped me, and I guess hopefully inspire you to look into alternative holistic healing modalities and therapies and energetic medicine, because it's truly the way of the future, and it's super cool too. It's really exciting. So anyway, I was introduced to quantum biofeedback, or the EPFX, or the SKIO, it's the same thing, probably about 3 years ago through my mother, who was introduced to it through my aunt, who experienced amazing results, and she can even testify to that. And I had a session with this woman who hooked me up to this puny, rinky-dinky little device, and there's straps that are attached to it, and they go around your wrists and around your head and your ankles, and it basically sends out electromagnetic energy to your body and tests your body against thousands of different things, and will tell you all of your energetically all of your nutritional deficiencies and your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses and your bacterias and thought patterns and emotions and beliefs and your pH balance and your oxygen levels, and really the list is never ending. And not only will it tell you everything that's going on with you and affecting you on an energetic level, which is what we are, we're energy, it can actually administer programs that'll work with your body to balance you out, all of your energetic abnormalities, and really provide a very holistic result. So after my first session, I was just completely blown away. Not only did it tell me all these things that are affecting all of my subconscious thoughts that I have and my emotions that I've suppressed, but she could actually work on me. She did a lot of programs with my body, a lot of neurolinguistic programming, and a lot of emotional release programs, and a lot of relaxation programs and energy shifting programs, and a lot of aura cleansing and meridian balancing, and that my mood has improved, my energy's gone up. I just feel more at ease with life. I'm able to deal with stress a lot more effectively. One of the goals of quantum biofeedback is to find the myriad of stressors and reduce them and bring you into balance so you're able to deal with stress a lot more effectively. How cool is that? So it's really helped me to improve my mood overall. You know, the little things don't really bug me as much anymore. And also it's allowed me to develop a lot of awareness about me and my mind and my body and what's really truly affecting me. And having that kind of awareness will ultimately allow you to, well, make a change. So overall, I feel that energy medicine has so much potential to help you really get to a state where you feel empowered. You know what's affecting you. You know that you can change once you know what's going on with you. I mean, really, the first step is awareness, then self-responsibility, and also really believing that you deserve it. That's key too. A lot of people have so many subconscious limiting beliefs, and I feel that we're all so innately powerful, but how many of us actually realize that we're these powerful beings that are capable of creating anything we want? I think we all innately deep down know that, but we have so many blocks. And one of the goals of quantum biofeedback, combined with hypnotherapy, which is something I also do, which is amazing, by the way, it'll help you find all of your self-sabotaging beliefs and thought patterns and bring them to the surface so you can heal them, and then allow you to choose new, life-affirming, healthy beliefs that will ultimately empower you and just really allow you to create the best life ever. I mean, you're worth it. We're all worth it. We're all so amazingly talented and gifted and full of so many gifts. I mean, we all have a purpose here, and I really believe that once we recognize what that is, we can make this world a better place.
So quantum biofeedback offers us an awful lot of new potentials through the field of electrophysiological reactivity. Make the patient feel comfortable, relaxed, respected. Do the SOC. Do the zeroid test. Then the symptom inventory. Learn how to do these things from our tests. And then you start to understand, because reveal, listening, understanding, revealing. Take the course. Learn from Patch Adams about compassion. Learn about listening. Learn about happiness. We have courses in happiness. Learn about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Learn about communication skills, enlightenment, meditation. Learn about counseling. Learn about all these things from the International Medical University. We are an evidence-based university. We work with evidence research and try to work within the medical system. Learn about the flow of treatment. Learn about how to do the SOC so you can understand about the bad behaviors. And you learn about behavioral medicine. Very important. This is the key that we start to really do medicine by taking the nail out of the tire, reducing the causes of disease. Thereby we have less disease. Then number two, we want to be able to treat the organs that have been destroyed or weakened. Rebuild the organs. Yes, we can do it with proper diet, especially with whole plant food diet. Whole plants will help to restore the function of all the organs. This has been proven. Then we want to unblock the blockages, because just as there are blockages in acupuncture, blockages in chiropractic, we want to be able to unblock those. And our system is designed to unblock those electrically and to assist you to help find where you need to do more chiropractic, more acupuncture. We're going to measure the bar hope, the basic impulses of the electric, the body electric, through the electroacupuncture and being able to see how we can do electroacupuncture. Very simple and easy to analyze all the points of the body and to fix the ones that are aberrant, that are problems. Electroacupuncture. And it does exist. There is evidence for all of this. And yes, I did help to get the acupuncture needles registered. Then we want to be able to reduce the symptoms, but we want to do this with natural medicine, life force medicine, not with synthetics. We want to then do a symptom inventory. So we understand and work with the patient to listen to their things so that they can start to develop their own ideas, to reduce their symptoms naturally with their mind. We want to be able to use the Oriental techniques of face analysis so we can start to learn more about the natural medicine and how the body deals with health. And then at the fifth level, we want to learn constitutional metabolic things, how to use homeopathy, how to use other different analysis, and how to help the body. Cooperating with the medical system, because we're working inside the medical system. We are biofeedback. We are evidence-based professionals with a wealth of library information, the world's largest library on natural medicine, and we are helping to teach people how to take care of their bodies.
Education, awareness, and we are biofeedback therapists with the proper diplomat and a certification of people who will stand behind us. And this is what we've done now in our biofeedback.
The biofeedback license, the International Biofeedback License, will protect you and help you to get grandfathered in later.
Thank you, Desiree Dubonnet. Learn more by watching all the videos.